Hello, welcome along. Here I'm going to be migrating a computer from one domain to another. We're going to get the agent that's part of the AD migration tool. We're going to be triggering it from the console so it will perform a domain move of the actual machine itself from the source domain into the target. So I'm going to take you through some of the prereqs that are necessary to make that work, and then I'm going to do one on a machine and show you it happening from start to finish. So first step is, let's take a look at our machine here. You can see I've got a workstation set up, and if I go here, have a look under settings, let's just run through quickly and just see what it is part of now. If we go down to the about, and you can see actually in here it is part of the Cozy Mouse domain. If I go into domain and work group, you'll see that as well. It is part of Cozy Mouse, which is our source domain, which we're going to be taking it from. Equally so, as another check, I can run a command line and just put set, and I can see down here that the user domain is Cozy Mouse. That's where the user is logged in from, and the DNS domain is cozymouse.com. So really we are have a machine set up here ready to go, and we're going to migrate that across to Migration Frog. Now, part of our prereq process on that is that previously with the other videos you would have seen that we've set up the SID history. Very important that the SID history is set up and the trust is in place as well. And this particular user does have local admin rights on the computer. So with all of that combined, we are ready to pick it up. We're ready to install the agent on the machine, and we're ready to have that computer move being processed by the console. So I've put the agent here just on the desktop. You can run it from anywhere. Group policy, you can push it out however you want to push it out to the machine, but here we just go through this process of next and install that, and yes, you can see it does have admin rights. It's not asking for a name, and we will say yes, I want to launch the computer move agent. Now when that comes up, I'm just going to drop that one away there. We put in our UPN, which is the source UPN, so it matches up with the console. So this is what the user or the admin that's migrating the machine would be typing in, and you can see here Isaac at Cozy Mouse. Now it's important that that particular user is part of the project you've got set up. So if I jump back just quickly into the MigrationWiz console here, let's have a look here. You can see Isaac was one of the users I was using on one of the last demos, so it definitely is in place here, but it does need to have the source object UPN registered in the console before you put it into the agent so it can find it and match it accordingly. So by putting Isaac in here and saying complete setup, it will go and talk to the MigrationWiz backend, and it will register the fact that the computer is ready to be moved, and it's ready for that trigger to come from the console. There we are, searching user, and it should drop into a timer screen very shortly once that's done. There we go. So we'll check the migration status. As you can see, it's going to check it every hour for the trigger process from the console itself to go ahead and perform that move. Now we can speed that up. We can press spacebar on the move agent and it triggers immediately. I'm not going to do that yet because there is something we need to do on the console beforehand. So let me show you what that is. So what you'll see here as well is when we're doing the move of the computer, we actually perform the computer move based on the user object. We don't do it from the computer object that may exist in your project. You can migrate that, of course, and it will pre-stage it in Active Directory. You can position it in any particular organization unit you want if you need to, but the actual computer move itself is done based on the user account rather than the computer. So you'll notice here that if I hit refresh, what should happen is, yes, here we are, we've got a little purple triangle. Now that purple triangle means that the computer has registered itself with the console and it is ready to be moved. The green one here are ones that I've already done. So we're looking for the purple one. Once it says purple, it's now ready to be triggered inside the console to perform that move on the workstation. So what we do there is we just go ahead and hit the selection here, and we say under computer move, we've got computer move. Now I should mention as well, where you get that agent from originally, you can download it from this item here and then deploy that to your relevant projects. Now it is not project specific, so once you download it once, you can use that agent anywhere at all. It is a standard MSI file, completely independent of the projects that you set up, so that's certainly good to know. But we're going to hit computer move here, and it will then give us our normal migration screen. I'm going to say start migration, and you can see we've started, and that now triggers that in the back end to perform that move. So if I want to kick it off on the workstation, what I would do is I would go obviously in there, and I could just wait, like it says there, 57 minutes. It will trigger it and do it itself. And if you were pushing out to a lot of machines, obviously that's an option. But here on this particular one, once you click in there, if I just press the space bar like so, you can see now it's ready to join that domain, and I will say yes, please continue. It'll go and perform the domain join into the migration frog. Now obviously that's all configured by the console. It knows where it needs to join it, and because we have a trust in place already, all the DNS is going to work nicely, and you can see quite happily there, successfully joined the target domain, and the computer reboots. So we hit OK, and we give that a few seconds. We'll get the other screen pop up here. There we go, and it's telling the user that they will be signed out of their session, and obviously it's going to restart. Now it'll take another 30 seconds, maybe up to a minute, because it's a normal timed reboot that would happen, but that will restart and then present us back with a login screen. And there we go, we can see that is restarting. It's going to be a bit of a pause window because obviously this is a Splashtop remote control session I've got on the machine, but once it comes back, we'll get presented with a normal Windows login screen again. So there you can see it's rebooted, and now it's come back to our login prompt. Now what you do need to remember is that when you're logging in here, this is actually talking to the old Cozy Mouse profile, because that's the default one that it had based on this name. So if I do log in as this, it's going to log in as the Cozy Mouse, not what we want. What they do have to do, and you have to put some documentation out to the users about what they're doing, they will need to click on Other User for the first time, and you can see we've got the Migration Frog domain here, but they will need to put in, you can see here, Migration Frog and Isaac, and then his password, and go through there. Now you can see it will log in into the new domain, the target domain, as Isaac, using that account that we migrated earlier, and it will pick up that profile that it had originally under Cozy Mouse, and you'll see there it is, and you see there's our same backdrop, there's our same files we had on the desktop. So let's have a look and just see what we can see with the Migration Frog domain, just to make sure everything has come across correctly. And we'll do that using that cmd command, and we'll put set, and you can see here now the user domain is Migration Frog with migrationfrog.com, so that is good. It's still using C drive users Isaac, as you'd expect. It's re-ACLed that original profile into a Migration Frog profile, which is good to see. So let's go into settings, have a look at the system, and drop down to About. And you can see, yes, we've got Migration Frog sitting in here. I can confirm that further. If I go into the domain and work group, I can see I've got Migration Frog, which is good because we've now got the user logged in as Isaac. And if I go OK, you can see he's here. We've got a machine migrated from one domain to another, and the user is using their old profile, so everything they had is still intact and in place there. So really we have a successful migration. Now if we jump back to the MigrationWiz console here, you can see if I refresh that, see this computer object has now gone green, meaning the computer has been migrated successfully. So as you can see, that's a relatively easy process to get a computer over once you've got the agent on the machine and you've got those prereqs set up. So you've got your trust in place and you've got the SID history coming across. Then really it is just a matter of just kicking it off in the console and allowing that computer to perform the move. You are going to need to do some work with the users to tell them exactly what's happening, and also that other step, once they first log into the computer for the first time, they are going to need to specify what the target account really is to attach correctly. But otherwise, yes, as I say, it's an easy process to get the computer's objects across. And yeah, thank you for watching. I really do hope that your migration goes very well, and refer to those help desk articles if you need any more guidance on any of those items and go a little bit deeper. So thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one.